I hope your Thursday is coming along well. Mine is, my body is aching. I've been working out a lot, so my body is sore, my legs, my arms. Ooh, but hey, it's a good pain. How are you? Are you keeping all right? My name is Eric, and this is Eric Stories. If you're new here, thank you so much for choosing to hang out with me. I appreciate you having found time and finding it worth your while, be it your 70th time or just the 7th. Thank you so much. I don't take it lightly. Eric Stories is about two individuals. Every weeknight, we try and make sense of adult conversations around sex, marriage, relationships, and your perspective is one that I cherish. And so, thank you once again. Please acquaint yourself with my socials. I am on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also on YouTube. While at it, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and just watch some of the things you may have missed. We've had numerous conversations. I was counting the other day. There are over 130 episodes of different conversations that many people say are illuminating. So if you're new, get yourself busy. You have something to do over the weekend. On Fridays, tomorrow, we are going to be doing a live. It's very, very interactive. I love it. It starts at around 9 o'clock, so make time and join us tomorrow. If it's going to be your first time, you're more than welcome. And maybe diarize, you can make time in tentative Fridays and come and hang out with us. I want to have a quick chat. It's Thursday, I want to make it light. Tomorrow we'll elaborate on some of these conversations we've had this week. I've been thinking about a lot of my thoughts. I love to perspective take, and I'm very introspective. So I sit down whenever my time permits with the regularity of often, and then I jot down some of my ill natures, and some of the things I think I'm improving on, and so on and so forth. And I have very few regrets as it pertains to relationships. I really don't. I wouldn't sit down and say, I dodged a bullet with that one. Or I let that woman go. You know the way people say things like that? I am really lucky. I don't have a lot of regrets as it pertains to relationships. We had a big conversation last year about regrets. If you haven't checked it out, again, go to YouTube and just scroll it. It's made for a wonderful conversation. But I want to share with you real quick 3 things I am learning, or I have learned, that I think can help you if you're struggling as I used to struggle then. Dr. Maya Angelou, whom I still fervently love, would say that when you learn, you teach. And when you get, you give. So in the spirit of Dr. Maya Angelou, let me share with you 3 things, 1, 2, 3, real quick, about the things I'm learning. Okay, so you can escape the hurdles I had to escape, unfortunately, through some very nasty experiences. All right, not so nasty, but enough to warrant me to at least speak about these subjects. First things first, I had a habit in my mid-20s all the way to my early 30s to date people I knew in my Noah. You know the way they can open your Noah like this, and they're like, there's nothing in this Noah for these people you're dating. So I had a terrible habit to date people I knew in my Noah. Not everybody, but a few people. Like I knew, like if I was being honest and I sat down and they said, Eric, what are you doing? I'd be like, nothing. And that's how I used to show up, with nothing, And now that I think back with the benefit of hindsight, I think it's really improper. Please don't hear what I am not saying. I'm not saying that all relationships must lead to the altar. No, I'm not saying that at all. I am saying that some of us can date you knowing full and well that you don't even meet a quarter of what they want in a partner. But because they are bored and they just want to get busy as they are waiting for their ideal person, then they waste your time. And that's why maybe 5 years down the road, when they've matured enough or they've gathered enough courage to tell you, they tell you something they knew all along as earlier on as 6 weeks into the relationship. Now all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I just don't like you like that, and I've met somebody else. And you're thinking, what? I bought you t-shirts and I was cooking in your house. Have you experienced such? So I knew, now that I look back, I knew for a fact from the first date that, hey, this is a funeral. But I was just staying, singing dirges, which is sad. And maybe it's just me. But if you're like me or how I used to be then it's probably wiser. The first thing to do is not to lead people on. Don't lead anybody on. And as I regret, I would say that is one of the things I regret not having learned earlier. So as I was working on myself, maybe I started doing something like, if I don't feel it the way I'm not feeling it within a year, I'll end it, which is terrible, because now I am learning within a couple of weeks you could tell, or even months, 3 months tops. You're like, you know what, this is not what I want, and then you end it. It saves your time, it saves their time, you move on with life, right? And that's one of the things I'm learning. Two things happen if you keep going. One, time accentuates your interest and your dislike for these people. And then you either start behaving funny or you tell them, as I was saying earlier. Number two, you'd meet the person you really, really like when you're in this relationship, and somebody's going to get hurt. So, what to do? If you know in your knower, you're not a goat, you can feel and you can see they've shown up as they are and you don't like who they are. Stop it. End it. End it earlier rather than later. First thing I learned. All right? Second thing I am learning, or because I don't have a personal experience with this, at least not in a grand scale of things. Just because you're in a serious relationship or even married does not mean that you'll stop being attractive or attracted to other people of the opposite sex. Ta-da! Can you believe that? And sometimes people wonder, and you're like, why am I feeling like this for that other person and yet I'm with this other person? Your feelings don't get married. Maybe they do, but not for everybody. You know, I was having a very illuminating conversation with an acquaintance of mine, and he was telling me the way he decided to go out for lunch. He's married. He decided to go out for lunch with this woman who they had a situationship with in the yesteryears, who is also married. And he was telling me that it was a very innocent lunch. You know, they met at a work thing and they decided, oh, let's catch up. It's been a while. So he said when they had lunch, they were really opening up about their challenges in marriage and, you know, whatever it is that people open up about. And so when he was dropping her off and then she stood and bid him farewell, he was telling me, Eric, I was just feeling things. I was just feeling like, And the lady later texted and said, you know, we should do that again. It was a lot of fun. And he said, he kept telling me, you know, I just wanted to do things with her and so on and so forth. And so we really spoke about that. And I was telling him that even in a serious relationship, I don't think your feeling of attraction for other people ceases. You'll obviously always see. I was dating this woman back in the years, and every time we'd be driving down the streets, she had this really cool thing. I don't know if she used to do that to make me comfortable, but she used to say, hey, baby, look at Hachibuno. Whoa, Hachibuno. I was like, so the earlier days, I was like, yeah. But it became a thing. So we'd appreciate other people like that. So if we're driving down the road, she's like, that guy is really, really hot. I'd be like, yep, that guy works out. He looks good. And then like, hey, look at that chick. And I'm like, yep, she looks all right. So maybe your partner would not allow that. So it's true that you will not stop feeling feelings for other people. You won't stop it. And people, even 8 kids in, somebody will have the audacity to walk up to you and say your waist in particular is something they're really taken by. Or you'll see a tall guy at a lobby and you'll be like, oh my God, that guy. Oh my God, that guy. Or some guy in your department and you're like, oh, I just, like when I see that guy, my ovaries. So I think it's important to acknowledge that and to accept it and to even own it. Like, this is going to happen. Just because I'm married, just because I'm in a relationship with Eric, doesn't mean that I will not find other people attractive. But the third thing I'm learning in closing is that you and I have the power to act or not to act upon our feelings. We do. So we can decide to respect the institution and the relationship we are in enough not to act on the way we feel. And not to say that I am a master and I've gotten these things figured out, but truly, the bottom of it all is you can control that feeling. Yes, it's very, very tempting. And this Friday, they've texted and said, you know, we can drive down to Naivasha. I'm easy. And, you know, we can even just spend a night. And yes, everything in you wants them. But there's a little issue here. You're married. And he's married. And yes, you are fighting that thing, but it's there. So the good news is, which I'm also learning, is that you have the power to not go the whole 9 yards. You could say, it's true, I feel intensely attracted to these people. It's true that when I see them, everything in me screams. And it's true that I am also married. And it's true that I have a girlfriend. And it's true that all these things are true. In fact, psychologists call it the and stance. So you add all the truths with an and. It's true that I'm attracted to him. It's true that I want to kiss them deeply and even have their babies. And it's true that I want to go to their house and make them so happy. It's true. But you know what also is true? I have power and I can choose for or against this feeling. What have you learned? Or are you learning? Do you want to share? Good evening and see you tomorrow at 9 p.m.